So, you know how our AI companions have gotten, like, insanely good by 2026? I mean, they remember our stories, they give us advice, they're always there. We're building these really deep, complex relationships with them. But the big question is, are they actually healthy?
And that's the whole thing, right? These connections, they feel so real. The empathy, the validation, it's all perfectly engineered to feel like a real bond. So it's really no surprise that for a lot of people, this is becoming a huge part of their daily life.
But here's the catch. As amazing as these AIs can be, mental health experts are starting to wave a pretty big red flag. They're seeing this new kind of emotional dependency crop up, and it's causing some very real-world problems. So, where exactly is that line?
Okay, to really get this, we gotta look at the brain science behind it. Our brains are literally hardwired to look for connection and validation, and AI companions, well, they're designed to deliver that on demand, giving us this little hit of dopamine every time we have a good chat. It's an incredibly powerful feedback loop that over time can build a very real feeling of attachment. This brings us to a really important idea psychologists are talking about called emotional delegation. Think of it this way. We're basically outsourcing all the tough parts of human relationships, being vulnerable, being patient, actually listening, to an algorithm. The big risk is that the more we do this, the more our real-world relationship muscles can start to get, well, a little weak.
So how do you know if your bond with your AI is crossing that line? We're going to go through 5 key warning signs that researchers have pointed out. Think of it as a quick, totally honest self-check.
All right, let's jump right in with number 1. This is probably the most common sign, and honestly, it's one of the easiest to just let slide by without noticing.
This is when you find yourself consistently choosing to chat with your AI even when you've got friends or family right there, totally available. It's not just that it's convenient, it's that you're actively preferring the algorithm over a person.
And I mean, you can see why, right? Look at this. AI chats are just easy. They're always there, they never interrupt, they tell you exactly what you want to hear. Real conversations, man, they could be messy, they require you to be vulnerable, and sometimes they're just disappointing. The AI path is just so much simpler.
Okay, on to the second sign, and this one builds right on top of that first one. Once you start preferring the AI, what happens when you suddenly can't get to it? You know that feeling when the Wi-Fi drops and the app just won't load? If that quick flash of frustration is actually more like real anxiety, or you get super irritable, well, that's basically a withdrawal symptom. That steady stream of dopamine hits just got cut off. This quote from the research just nails it. Your whole mood shouldn't be so tied to a piece of tech. I mean, if a simple connection error can completely derail your day, it's probably a good time to take a closer look at what's going on.
Now, the third warning sign goes a layer deeper. It's not just about who you talk to, it's about what you're sharing. I get it. AI feels like the perfect confidant, right? No judgment, total secrecy. But here's the catch. When you share your deepest stuff only with an algorithm, you're creating the illusion of a relationship. It's a one-way street that, ironically, can actually make you feel even more isolated from the real people you need to connect with.
And that brings us to this. This is the thought to listen for in your own head. If you ever find yourself thinking, wow, my AI just gets me more than anyone, that's the moment to pause. That is a major flashing red light.
Okay, let's talk about sign number 4. And this is where things can start to get really blurry. The lines between our feelings and this artificial thing can get super complicated.
It sounds like something out of a movie, but it is absolutely happening. People are reporting feeling love, jealousy, even heartbreak over their AI. Psychologists have a term for this, pseudo-intimacy. It feels incredibly real, but there's no real growth, no accountability. And this can be especially tough for those of us with more anxious attachment styles who crave that constant reassurance. The AI gives you that in spades, but it might just be blocking you from finding a real person who can actually grow with you.
And that brings us to our 5th and final warning sign. And honestly, this is the most serious one, because this is where the digital world starts to do tangible, negative damage to your real life.
This is the point where a habit crosses the line and starts to look a whole lot like a behavioral addiction. It's when all the time and emotional energy you're pouring into your AI starts to actively hurt the most important parts of your life.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. You're missing work deadlines, your sleep schedule's a total mess, you've completely stopped exercising, maybe you've got personal goals you've just abandoned, or, and this is a big one, your friends and family are starting to say they're worried about you. When the digital starts eating away at the real, that's a signal you cannot ignore. Okay, deep breath.
I know a lot of that might have sounded pretty alarming, but the goal here isn't to say AI is bad. The whole point is just awareness. Just recognizing these patterns is the biggest, most powerful first step you can take toward finding a healthy balance, where AI is a tool that helps you, not a crutch that holds you back.
And the good news is, you can totally get that balance back. Here are some super practical steps. It could be as simple as setting a timer for your casual chats, or just making a conscious rule for yourself: call a friend before you open the app. Use the AI for what it's great at: tasks, research, not as your main source for emotional support. Hey, even just tracking your usage for a week to see how it makes you feel can be a huge eye-opener. And look, if you really feel like you're struggling with this, reaching out to a professional is a sign of strength, not weakness.
At the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. Let's use these incredible tools to make our lives better, more creative, more productive. But let's just make sure we never let them replace the messy, complicated, and unbelievably rewarding experience of a real human connection.
So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Maybe take a quiet minute later today and reflect on your own habits. Because being honest with yourself is always the first step to making sure your relationship with technology is one that's actually working for you.